Being a Navy SEAL was one of the greatest honors of my life, and it gave me the tools to forge my own path and the chance to serve, albeit in the only way I knew how at the time. But the price was high. There was trauma, pain, and a darkness that enveloped me, bearing my boyhood dreams of ever being a superhero for good. That brings me to the first lesson I'd like to share. Mistakes and tragedy can be the spark for new purpose. The battlefield is unforgiving. Decisions are made in split seconds with imperfect data. Operating with the information I had and with the absolute intention of protecting my unit, I made a decision that took a life. And I was wrong. And despite being cleared by an investigation that I operated within the rules of engagement, nothing will take away that my actions caused irreparable harm. I'm not the victim of this tragedy. I caused it. And it's a weight I rightfully deserve to carry for the rest of my life. Perhaps driven by guilt or a Sisyphean mission of atonement, I pivoted to medicine, hoping to uplift others, but I wasn't ready to heal anyone. In an effort to stay resilient, I had built layers of armor to protect myself, still trying to be that solo superhero. But you can't heal the vulnerable without being vulnerable yourself.
And we had a situation happen where, we had an individual. We were sitting in a sniper overwatch position. We had an individual come in the gate. We zip tied the gate. And so we went in there at nighttime off the boats from the river. So this was a big compound. There was some mobile buildings in this compound, and the buildings had been vacated. So they had been lived in. It looks like not too long ago, but there was no one in them at the time we were occupying them. So we had multiple overwatches. We'd zip tied the gates, and we thought we had zip tied the entire gate. We didn't realize that there was a walk-in gate. We just zip tied the vehicle gate, the larger gate that opened, and there was a walk-in gate. So the sun had come up. We were observing. This was ahead of a big operation that was going to happen with the Marine Corps in a very bad area of Ramadi where they couldn't even get to us without some massive clearance operations to dig the IEDs out of the road. And the boats certainly couldn't get out there in the daytime as well because they had gotten shot off the river. But so the sun comes up, we engage some targets, they're shooting at us. We knew that the insurgents knew where our position was. And as all of a sudden, I hear one of my snipers yell, "Hey, someone's in the compound." There was an individual had opened a walk-in gate that we had not seen at nighttime to zip tie. They'd opened a walk-in gate and pushed. So it's a military-age male pushing a wheelbarrow full of heavy equipment, and it clearly was heavy. He pushes it right up against the building, and the SEAL sniper that was observing this comes off his sniper rifle, grabs his M4 rifle, and engages this individual because he has a reasonable certainty of hostile intent that this is a guy who's planning an IED up next against the building.
Which just real quick, that's absolute executed tactic, technique, and procedure by the enemy. The enemy at this juncture, we had known before we were there and while we were there, if there was snipers in an overwatch position, the enemy would put IEDs outside that building. So when the sniper team went to leave, they would get IEDs clacked off on them. And in fact, within days of this operation that you're talking about, the Marine Corps had gotten blown up on exfil. I think they had 2 killed and 3 wounded. That happened. As a matter of fact, I briefed that as one of the points of, hey, we need to be watching out for this. This is what they're doing now. So all that's in this particular sniper's head. He sees someone putting a wheelbarrow up against the building that you're in. He's probably getting ready to clack off an IED. So yeah, he made the decision, took the shot.
And he makes a split-second decision. He literally has like seconds as the gate opens. This guy trucks his wheelbarrow in. And this had been a guy he had been observing our position. He'd been talking to a group of people and pointing in our direction. It was a guy that we'd been watching. And again, we've been shot at. So we knew they knew our position. So he drops it. He brings the wheelbarrow right up next to the building, and the sniper engages him. We go out there. And as our EOD bomb technician is looking at this wheelbarrow, this wheelbarrow is full of like heavy equipment. There was like a sandbag or like burlap sack filled with piping material with wires coming out of it. And as he's looking at that, it's not an ID. There's no explosive there. It looks extremely shady, from every angle. And yet, as he's actually looking at it and he's meticulously, looking at it, it ends up not being an ID. So we have, I don't know what that individual was doing. I'm pretty dang sure that he was probing us. And that even if that wasn't an ID, he was going to, maybe the insurgents had said, go see how close you can get, take this wheelbarrow, because the next time it was going to be an ID to see if that was a viable tactic. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. All we know is now we have a individual who is wounded, and what we thought was an ID isn't an ID. And so what we did was bring that guy inside, and our SEAL corpsman, who's got some incredible life-saving skills, goes to work on that guy and does everything he can to try to save that individual, and in accordance with the rules of engagement.
Yeah, in accordance with the Geneva Convention. Yeah.
And the law of armed conflict. So this is what we have to do as a in accordance with all that, and so it was the right thing to do. So the SEAL corpsman is expending our life-saving medical equipment to try to save this guy's life, and did everything he could. And just because of the gravity of his wounds, we were not able to save him. But we called that into the Marine Corps, and so we actually had 2 different investigations. Because of that, it was through our own Special Operations Command, and we had a Marine investigation that was conducted. We sat down with the JAGs. We talked about it after that operation was concluded, and we brought that individual back. We brought and delivered him to the Marine Corps so that his body could be recovered and given back to his family, and reparations made in every way that they could make them. And those 2 investigations both cleared us to show that the SEAL sniper had acted in accordance with the rules of engagement. He had a reasonable certainty of hostile intent. As you said, those Marines had just experienced something very similar to that, where a bomb was planted right next to their building. And killed a couple of Marines and wounded several others. So it was an unfortunate and horrible situation that happened, but we did everything we could to try to save that guy. And this is the realities of war, that even when you try to minimize collateral damage, there are things like that happen. And when it does happen, you don't try to cover it up or try to make it sound like something it wasn't, or plant a weapon on the guy or pretend like it didn't happen, because everyone would have known about it. Everyone would have known about that. What you do is take the investigation, come investigate, see what happened. This is why this decision was made in accordance with the rules of engagement. It required a bunch of interviews. It required sworn statements, and ultimately we were cleared as a result of that. That it was a shot that was taken in accordance with the rules of engagement, because there was a reasonable certainty of hostile intent in that situation.
So young leaders, old leaders, I don't care. If you're that story right there is just so important for people to understand. It's so important, especially military, law enforcement. That story right there is so important for you to understand. The move is, this is what happened, come investigate. That's the move. Like you just said, to say, okay, hey, let's plant some explosives on. Hey, breacher, give us some of your breaching charges and we'll make it look like he had explosives. Give him a weapon. Put an old AK in his wheelbarrow. Any of those things, then we won't get. If you make that move, you are going to get busted, and rightfully so. It's going to get found out. They're going to go, oh, he had explosives. Oh, this is American explosive. Oh, this is that. This serial number goes back to your task unit. So this is you. Or the weapon. Oh, the guy up the street said this weapon was taken from his house by you 4 days earlier. You're getting busted. Or the whatever. You are not. Or somebody in the platoon or somebody in the Marine Corps is going to say, oh, I saw that guy get shot. And then I saw those guys, or somebody with a cell phone was sitting there recording, or with a camera. Any of these things, that's what's going to happen. And you're screwing yourself, and you're screwing your guys over by trying to cover this up and by lying about it. So, number 2, don't do that. I'm saying number 2 because number 1 has to have already taken place. And number 1 is you make sure that your troops know that if you do something that is immoral, unethical, or illegal, you will not have their back. Hey, if they do something that is within the rules of engagement, if they're doing the right thing for the right reasons, not only do you have their back, you will die for them. That's what the SEAL teams is. I will die for you. You're my brother. But if you do something that's illegal, immoral, or unethical, I don't have your back anymore. And you know what I used to tell guys? There's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you. You like me because I'm gonna help you out, and I'm helping you with your getting to the right schools, and I'm helping you with your evaluations, and I'm helping you with your career. And you did something stupid over the weekend, and we're gonna bring it up the chain of command. We're gonna get it taken care of. I'm helping you. You do something that's immoral, illegal, or unethical, I can't help you. I remember that actually used to scare guys a little bit because I had a lot of clout. If you did some dumb shit, you did some stupid stuff, you got into some little incident out there, I'm gonna get it taken care of. I am. I'm gonna take care of you. You get in some trouble, you make a mistake, you do something that you shouldn't have done, you stepped outside the box a little bit. Okay, there's going to be some price to pay, but we're going to get it squared away. But if you do something that's immoral, that's illegal, that's unethical, I'm not going to be able to help you, and I'm not going to help you. So that's step 1. And actually, the way Admiral McCraven was talking about, like, there's red lines. You go outside these red lines, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you anymore. You're on your own. You need to know that. Where leaders slip up is they don't want to say that. They don't want to say that because it kind of sound like, I mean, even sitting here in this room with you, my brother, Leif Babin, saying like, hey, I got your back to a point, doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. It's like, you'd be like, what do you mean you got my back to a point? Hey, here's how this comes full circle. The way that I have your back 100% is by making sure that you know what the rules are and what lines you cannot cross. And if you cross them, you're on your own. That's what we're talking about. This is the crux of what we're talking about. And you as a leader have got to say that. You have as a leader, that's step number 1, to make sure that the team realizes that there's lines that if they cross, you will not have their back because they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And the honor of our country and the honor of the teams trumps your stupidity or your nefarious behavior. And I don't got you anymore. That's where leaders mess up. They don't clarify that, and that crushes them. I always felt comfortable because I know that you guys do that. And that's, like whatever it is, me, there's lines. Yeah, everybody knows there's lines with me. You know not to cross them. There's certain things, if you do it, you're fucked. I will destroy you. I will hate you. If you do something that gets our platoon in some situation where we don't go to war, I'm going to hate you forever. And I'm probably going to try and kill you.
Within the rules of engagement.
Within the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, everyone understood me in the fact that the most important thing to me was we have a job to do. And we are going to do this job. And look, part of doing this job is we take care of our troops. How do we take care of our troops? We make sure that they understand what the rules of engagement are. They understand if they cross those rules of engagement, there's nothing I can do for them. There's nothing you can do for them. There's nothing anyone can do for them. They're on their own.
I think what's so powerful for me for that, Jocko, is it was, as I was saying earlier, like that, it just crystallized on my mind like this is black and white. And I remember you saying, you know, that's what good leadership actually is. That's what good leadership actually is. You're screwing me over if I think, hey, I can just get away with whatever I want. Jocko's got my back. We're going to cover it up. You're actually setting me up for failure.
Absolutely.
And disaster for me, for the platoon, for our mission, for everything. And I think you just crystallized in my mind like that is, no, that's what you do as a leader. That's what you do. That's what good leadership looks like, so that I could execute with 100% confidence. You know, and I remember you telling us when we're talking about rules of engagement, we said it was black and white. The words that you used were, because I remember coming up in the Naval Academy, you know, I would be told things like, well, you know, you got to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And when you're on the battlefield, the right thing it's kind of hard to determine sometimes when you're fighting against an evil enemy. And I remember what you would say was, you can't do what you think is right. You have to do what's legal. And so it made it totally crystal clear in my mind. And for us in Task Unit Bruiser out there, of like, okay, what is legally, what do we have to do in this situation? So we're gonna do the thing that is legal and moral and ethical. So we're gonna do what's right and legal. That makes it clear in my mind, and it helps me understand the decisions I have to make, not only me, but for everybody else in the platoon, for those in Delta Platoon, for all of Task Unit Bruiser. And then you taught that to the next generation of SEAL leaders. I remember you giving that brief every time you came in, you know, for the junior officer training course, a leadership program that I was running, to all of the SEALs that you trained through 3 years of training, you know, to pass these lessons on of like, that is your job as a leader, is to make sure that your people are following the rules, are not doing stupid shit that's going to, you know, get them sent to prison for the rest of their lives, impact our mission, and cause strategic damage to our mission, or tarnish the legacy and heritage of the SEAL teams. And that was something that you crystallized in my mind, and then I went going forward knowing I knew exactly what I needed to do as a leader in order to maintain that standard. And it was very black and white.